call this meeting of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Present.
Freeholder Jones.
Present.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Mercado.
Here.
Freeholder Pomares.
Here.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Sebo.
Here.
Freeholder President Gill.
Here. And ask that we please stand for our salute to the flag. I'm going to ask that Freeholder Johnson lead us in the salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I ask that we please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have before me certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Mr. President, there are none.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any topics of discussion?
Mr. President, there are none.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move to the public comment session on agenda items. Tonight's meeting is a combined conference board meeting, and we will vote on every item on the agenda. So if there's any member of the public who would like to comment on any agenda item, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. Agenda items. Okay, hearing and seeing none. If there's any member of the public who would like to comment on any issue, please come to the microphone, state your name and affiliation for the record, and again, you will have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening. I'm Katie Singer. I live in Millburn, New Jersey. I teach in the Newark Public Schools. I'm here once again to request either breaking the ICE contract with Essex County, doing so, or at the least refunneling that money into something that actually supports the immigrants that are being detained. So I thought I would read out loud for the record my 2 responses that I've received since I have posed questions. I'm feeling pretty disheartened right about now by my local government. It's enough that my federal government's depressing me, but I'm just feeling really unheard. So on September 12th, I received a letter that said that during the public comment session of the August 8th meeting, I requested answer as to why the contract with ICE has been in effect since 2011. The answer I received, for the record, is the federal government under the Obama administration issued a request for proposals in 2010. Through a very competitive process and thorough review, Essex County was awarded the contract. In addition, as per the Constitution of the United States, Essex County is abiding by our country's laws. So the answer to my question is we have a contract because we have a contract. On September 26th, I received a letter regarding my questions of September 12th meeting. Why are we still in contract with ICE? President Gill provided the following answer to those questions. My first question was, what is our common cause and what is our common purpose? President Gill replied, our common cause and common purposes is to see to it that the citizens of Essex County enjoy all the benefits and protections of good government and the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness under the law. I am not experiencing that right now. My second question was, why do we still have the contract with ICE? In recent months, the Essex County contract with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, to house detainees suspected of entering the country illegally has been an issue for concerned citizens of the county. This is one of the most difficult issues that I have encountered on the Board of Chosen Freeholders. All people are entitled to human rights, dignity, and equal protection under the law. However, ending the contract with ICE will not resolve the issues that some, including the current detainees and their families, are facing due to the federal directive. As the president of the board of chosen freeholders, I have always upheld my oath to protect the Constitution and allow lawful government
30
to
seconds.
proceed without obstruction. The Essex County Administration's contract with ICE is lawfully in place. While I respect the concerns voiced, we have the right to disagree on the approach to resolving the issues. So my question is, I know my time is up, are you, the board, taking a stand that we will not break that contract? Yes or no, please? Thank you.
Good evening, freeholders. My name is Mary Rizzo. I am a resident of Newark, New Jersey, and I am a professor of history at Rutgers University in Newark. And I am here as well to ask again that you break your contract with ICE to house detainees at the Essex County Detention Facility. So weeks ago, months ago, when I first started coming to speak before you, I raised a point as, from my perspective as a historian, that we are in changeable times, that change is possible, and we can make things different. Usually historians measure change in decades or even in centuries, but change is actually happening here around the country much faster. And I want to just read to you excerpts from an article published in the Washington Post, County by County, ICE Faces a Growing Backlash, that was published on October 1st of this year. I want to give you a sense of what's happening around the country and urge you to join your colleagues in communities around this country in the fight against ICE. So these types of arrangements between counties and ICE, which ICE has with more than 190 local jails and detention facilities nationwide, are key to the agency's enforcement efforts. The bulk of the agency's roughly 42,000 detainees are held in local facilities. With little leverage to counter the Trump administration's aggressive immigration crackdown in a Republican-controlled Washington, immigrant advocates and grassroots groups are mounting a furious backlash in local communities across the country. They can't stop deportations, but they hope to throw sand in the gears by targeting pressure points in the system. ICE relies on local agencies to jail detainees who may be in the country illegally, notify ICE of their release, and even help conduct immigration enforcement. The protests have gained momentum alongside calls to abolish ICE, particularly as outrage spread over President Trump's zero-tolerance policy that separated migrant children from their parents at the border. While dismantling a major federal agency remains a long shot, the more modest local efforts have notched victories in at least a dozen communities. They include Fairfax County, Virginia, which dropped an ICE contract at its jail, and Hudson County, New Jersey, where officials this month announced a plan to take the same step. Contra Costa County Supervisor John M. Joya, who pushed to end his local jail's contract with ICE, said the issue has spurred more activism than
30
virtually
seconds.
any other in 2 decades. We don't want to be part of Trump's policy of separating families and rounding up immigrants. I just want to end by reading just a little bit more. So going back to Contra Costa County, in California, this county was the scene of numerous protests before a large group turned up on June 30th to rally against Trump's immigration policies and the local ICE contract. About 2 weeks later, Sheriff David Livingston cited a range of reasons for dropping the contract, including the fact that protests and community tension had cast a shadow over the work his deputies were doing at the jail. The cost to our county outweighed the net revenue that the sheriff received. I would like you to consider what the cost is to this county of your continued contract with ICE and the detention of immigrants at the Essex County facility. Thank you.
Squeeze the handle and you can raise the...
Oh, I think I'm good. Am I audible? Thank you. Good evening, freeholders. My name is Whitney Strube. I live here in Newark in the Ironbound, where immigrants are being detained. And I am once again here to ask you to break your contract with ICE. I would like to note that unlike my colleagues here who received sort of unsatisfying, bland form letters from you, I have yet to receive a response. I believe twice I have asked for formal response to the fact that the New Jersey spokesman for ICE, Emilio Daboul, is a noted associate of America's most notorious Islamophobic figures and publications. 6 Democratic congressional representatives have called for his firing because of his intimate ties to the Islamophobe right. And this is the 3rd time I'm asking formally for written comment from the Freeholders as to why you have not spoken out against this obnoxious and racist spokesman for the group that you collaborate with, ICE. The other point I want to make today is I'm sure that you've seen the tent city in Texas where thousands of children are now being detained in tents in the desert without access to education. And they were taken there overnight from facilities across the United States, weeping generally. And I'm sure you think maybe that has nothing to do with us in Essex County, but I want to emphasize, just in case you missed this fact, I know you don't detain children, but the children who are in the tent city with no immediate seeming escape from their imprisonment are not there because of increased rates of detention of children. They're there because of increased stays of custody. And the reason those stays have doubled, they have doubled this year, the length of time children spend in ICE and Homeland Security custody, is because ICE has been unconscionably cracking down on sponsors for those children. 80% of the people who sponsor children to get them out of custody are undocumented. Up until this year, ICE has not arrested people who volunteer to sponsor children because it's an obvious act of humanity that would be unthinkable, and yet we're living in that unthinkable. And so ICE has arrested over 4 dozen people who have volunteered to be sponsors for these children. That's why the tent city is amassing in Texas. It's amassing because of the detention that's going on here in Essex County, everywhere nationally, but specifically here because we have one of the largest detention centers in the United States. And so that chain of commodified human bodies that are being used for profits, you are playing an integral role in upholding that chain that leads to children in tents in a desert with no education and very little hope. And I really just ask you to reflect on that. I know you're in a tight position politically and financially, I understand that, but this is unconscionable. It's unconscionable what ICE is doing, and it's unconscionable that you're not doing more to resist that. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Yael Weber. I'm also here to ask that you end the contract we have in Essex County with ICE. I have a few specific questions that I have yet to receive a specific response to. My first question is, how many of the ICE detainees in Essex County have never been convicted of any criminal violation? What specific offenses are categorized as low level, medium, and high? I received a letter just saying that there are these different categorizations with 0 specifics about what they mean or what percentage of the detainees fall into those categorizations, and what is the average length of stay for ICE detainees in Essex County Correctional Facility. However, I don't want to get caught up in the details of the conditions at Essex County. I believe that even under the best conditions, this is immoral, this is wrong. We can talk about it being lawful. Concentration camps and death camps in Germany were lawful. Residential schools in the United States were lawful. Japanese internment centers were lawful. Slavery was legal. And so the legality of this, I don't think, is the issue at stake. This is immoral, this is wrong. We are participating in upholding an institution that is fundamentally unconscionable. And I think that we need to do more to speak out against this, to throw sand into the gears, as Mary mentioned in the article, and to do our part to say that we did everything we could to stop what was happening, because right now we're collaborating, we are complicit in these atrocities. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jesse Rosso. I'm actually a resident of Hudson County, and in Hudson County, as you might have been aware of, that there's been news that recently in 2020 where Hudson County is looking to end their contract with ICE. So I'm here urging Essex County to also end this contract with ICE, hopefully sooner, and kind of pave the way and be brave, be braver than the freeholders in Hudson are. And so one of the arguments that we generally face, and you know, we face them from even other immigrant justice activists, is that, you know, where are these individuals going to go? And when the jails close, and in New Jersey, our jails are some of the largest jails around the country. And we wouldn't be the first ones to close the jails. There's been counties in California, there's been counties in Oregon, Atlanta. Recently, the mayor stood up and said that, you know, we're not gonna be taking this money. We've also had in Alexandria, Virginia, they said they're no longer going to take children. So, I mean, this wouldn't be new ground that we would be paving the way. And so one of the arguments that we frequently hear is, you know, keep the families close together. And ultimately, we reject that argument because, you know, we don't want to be complicit in Trump and this increasingly racist and agenda. So we don't want any part of that. And I think especially in New Jersey is one of the deepest, bluest states in the country, that we have to kind of stand firm and reject this money. When I was getting lost, because you know, I'm not from here, I was getting lost to try to find the entrance in the building, I saw a Martin Luther King statue. And I have a quote from Martin Luther King. And he said, "The activities which have taken place in Birmingham over the last few days, to my mind, mark the nonviolent movement coming of age. This is the first time in history of our struggle that we have been able, literally, to fill the jails. And in a real sense, this is the fulfillment of a dream, for I've always felt that if we could fill the jails in our witness for freedom, it would be a magnificent expression of the determination of the Negro," his words, not mine, "and a marvelous way to lay the whole issue
30
before
seconds.
the conscience of the local and national communities." And I think, in a real sense, this Birmingham movement is one of the most inspiring developments in the whole nonviolent struggle. So I'm saying that we get the detainees out of our jails, and unfortunately it would have to be moved possibly to another thing, but this would definitely slow down the rate of detention because there would be less places for these individuals to go. So do the right thing, Essex County.
Thank you. Okay, let the record reflect, Madam Clerk, that there's no one wishing to speak at this time. I will take one point of personal privilege, Madam Clerk, just to say two things. We will continue to try to respond, both from the board and from the administration, as best and as quickly as we can, and also to distinguish when the questions that are asked, when I'm giving my opinion as an individual freeholder versus the answers of the other members of the board. You know, so I say that to say that I don't speak for the board. When I directly respond, I'm one freeholder on a 9-member board. As it pertains to the spokesperson for ICE, this is something that has been brought up on two separate meetings. I support a resolution. I've spoken to the clerk regarding this issue, and will be circulating a resolution among my colleagues to make a public statement on that particular issue. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that there is no one wishing to speak at this time. Do we have any ordinances or resolutions for introduction and first reading?
Mr. President, we have none.
Okay. Do we have any ordinances or resolutions for listing purposes only?
Mr. President, we have ordinance number O-2018-00015, ordinance naming the Flamingo exhibit at Essex County Turtleback Zoo as the Drill Family Flamingo exhibit at Essex County Turtleback Zoo in honor of the Drill family.
Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any ordinances or resolutions on second reading and public hearing tonight?
Mr. President, we have none.
Okay, Madam Clerk, I understand resolution number 1 and resolution number 2 have been withdrawn by the administration. Let's go on to resolution number 3. Please read it.
Resolution 3, the Department of Economic Development, Training and Employment, Division of Training and Employment contracts with 12 Welfare to Work service providers to provide educational and vocational activities for the Essex County recipients September 5th, 2018 through June 30th, 2019, amount not to exceed $2,614,000.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. Ms. Van Dyke is the contract manager for DEDTE, is here to address this item.
Hello. We have contracts that we wish. Okay. Josette Van Dyke, contracting unit for Division of Training and Employment. We are looking to provide contracts for welfare to work clients under TANF, GA, SNAP, and non-SNAP. We had a proposal that was out for May 22nd. The bidders conference was May 6th. Submission deadline was July 3rd. We had 14 submissions. Of the 14 submissions, we had 2 denials.
Okay.
The average score went from 88.5 to 63.5. The contracts are basically educational, vocational.
Okay.
And low lit. That's standard programs to help our clients further their education and to lead to jobs.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Parlavecchio?
No question. I do have questions. Is this grant funded?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. McInerney?
No questions, Mr. President.
Freeholders, do we have any questions or comments? Freeholder Jones?
I hear the different proposals of who you service in terms of welfare or whatever it is that you service. But my concern as people who are receiving assistance from the county, these training programs that is a part of the reorganization of whatever I'm trying to say is they don't work. You have people who goes to typing school or business school and they can't type. The only type of jobs basically is that nurse's assistant. But that is nothing in terms of helping those individuals to come out of poverty to live, because the cost of living and starting at minimum wage, you can't do it in New Jersey. And many of them are not able to receive jobs. Now, I'm talking and I'm not technical, but I think we need to look in area of technology and see can we find jobs where people can be certified to have a better quality of life. And I have nothing against your programs, but I'm just talking about what I see in my community. What are you? I'm going to be a nurse. If they like medicine, then send them to be nursing school and become registered nurses, as opposed to entry-level types of jobs. But technology is going to be the key to turn about the situation of our clients. That's it. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr.
Thank you, Freeholder.
President.
Freeholder, additional questions or comments? Do I have a mover and a second?
I'll move, Mr. President.
Moved by Freeholder Palmaris, second by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer, absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Mercado?
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares? Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Sebald?
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 4. Please read it.
Resolution number 4, 2018 County Budget, insertion of items of revenue from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for Continuum of Care Program, Almost Home 3, Division of Community Action, $271,678.
Mr. Jackson?
Mr. President, Mr. Goodson is here to address this item.
Good afternoon, everybody. Freeholder Board, everybody on the Freeholder Board.
welcome. This is, I'm here representing the Essex County Community Action. We have a renewal contract of $271.68. Is it? $271,678 for the Almost Home program. The Almost Home program is for young people who are, let's say, aging out of diapers and have some kind of disability problem. And we are there to support them and provide housing for them. The program started with providing housing, and the agency had to match the housing. They had to match it with in-kind services. Right now, it was 100% of the in-kind services. Now it's 25% of in-kind services. But it's a renewal program. It's not a new contract, it's a renewal. And I'd like for everybody on the Freeholder to support those young individuals who don't normally get, are not able to speak out for themselves, so we are here to represent them. All right? Thank you.
Mr. Parlavecchio?
No questions.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Do I have a mover and a second? Moved by Freeholder Jones.
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson absent. Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer absent. Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just before moving to resolution number 5, through you, Mr. Jackson, it looked like that we had for resolution number 3 a series of providers who were here that just kind of came in right after we moved on the resolution. So just want to send a message back that, you know, we moved before they were here, and we would have heard from them if the timing had worked out
Certainly, Mr. President.
differently. And probably would have spoke a little bit to some of Freeholder Jones's questions. So if there's continued follow-up, because it did look like there were some providers for the programming that actually showed up to speak. Moving to resolution number 5, Madam Clerk, please read it.
Resolution 5, Department of Public Works Division of Engineering Contract Award to Commercial Interiors Direct for removal and installation of carpeting and tiling at 50 South Clinton Street, East Orange, New Jersey, under the Middlesex Regional Cooperative Purchasing Agreement, amount not to exceed $285,080.07.
Mr. Jackson.
Mr. President, Ms. Pena is here to address items 5, 6, and 7.
Hi, good evening. My name is Janet. I'm representing Essex County Department of Public Works. I am here for the Award Commercial Interiors Direct Incorporated for removal and installation of carpeting and tiling at 50 South Clinton Street, East Orange, New Jersey, for the 3rd and 4th floor. If the amount not to exceed is $285,080.07.
Mr. Parlavecchio.
No questions.
Mr. McInerney.
No questions, Mr. President.
Freeholders. Do I have a mover?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Mercado. Second by Freeholder Johnson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano absent. Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 7. Please read it.
Resolution
6.
Excuse me, 6.
Resolution 6, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, Contract Award to MAC Group, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to provide roofing repair services, 730-day contract, amount not to exceed $221,700.
Yes,
Thank
good
you.
evening, yes. The lowest responsive bidder, roofing repair services for 730-day agreement goes for MAG Group. The representative is here as well. Mr. Matt from the company.
Good evening, freeholders. My name is Sasha, and I'm representing my group.
Can you tell us a little bit about your company contract and the contract?
Excuse me?
Can you tell us a little bit about your company and the contract?
Well, the company has been in the business for already 20 years. And me, myself, as a project manager, I've been in the business also 18 years. I've been with this company for the last 5 years. As far as I know, we can do all kind of roofing.
Where are you located?
We're located in Clifton.
Do you have any Essex County employees?
Not at the moment, but if the job requires, we will hire. I mean, of course, we're going to hire more workers as needed.
Mr. Parlavecchio?
I think my question is for the administration. I couldn't tell from the certification of funds where what the funding source is for this.
Capital improvement fund.
Thanks.
Mr. McInerney?
This is an open-end contract too, right? In other words, there's certain hourly rates or whatever apply. And,
Correct.
And amounts for also materials. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McInerney. Freeholders?
No.
Freeholder Jones?
The open-ended contract, explain that to me. What does it mean?
An open-ended contract doesn't mean that it's unlimited. It means that there's a certain cap on the amount of the contract. But they may not necessarily get paid that amount because they're going to be paid on a unit charge. So, for instance, we have open-end contracts on office supplies. We don't buy any office supplies. We don't have to pay anything. The contract for office supplies, let's say, as with this contract for roofing, would have a list of the products that we're going to buy that was done by competitive bid, and then they would use that list in order to make the purchases. But again, if you have a $100,000 open-end contract and only use $50,000 of it, then you're not using the whole contract. It's not like any other contract where we go out for bid and it's a construction contract for $1 million and you have to pay the $1 million. This is different.
Okay.
Actually, it's better described as a not-to-exceed contract.
Okay, thank you. Freeholder Johnson?
Thank you. To you, Mr. President. Do we have roofs that's already been identified that need to be redone?
Henry Chemezan, Department of Public Works. This contract for as-needed basis. Whenever during the 2 years we have a problem at the roof, we direct the contractor to go and repair it.
Oh, so as of yet, we don't know if any roofs need to be repaired?
No.
Okay. Freeholders?
Mr. President, for me.
Freeholder Palmaris?
Thank you, sir. So, I mean, if we don't have any projects lined up, and I understand we have to have some funds in reserve for that, can you just kind of give me a sense of where you came up with the kind of specific amount of $221,700? Is that based on an average of expenses in the last few years?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Freeholders, additional questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
I'll move, Mr. President.
Moved by Freeholder Palmaris, second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Sebo?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Palmaris?
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer, absent. Freeholder Mr. President Gill?
Yes. Okay, moving to resolution number 7. Please read it, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 7, Department of Public Works, Division of Fleet Management, contract award to Penn Jersey Machinery, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, to provide the rental of 3 front-end loaders with 3-yard bucket capacity, 3-year rental contract, 4 months per year, amount not to exceed $131,400.
Thank you, Ms. Pena.
Yes, good evening. This vendor's name is Penn Jersey Machinery. They're the lowest responsive bidder to furnish and deliver the rental of 3 rubber tire front-end loaders with 3-yard bucket capacity for our snow season. The amount not to exceed is $131,400.
Okay. Ms. Parlavecchio?
Okay. So I understand from your explanation, this rental is for snow removal?
Yes, it's for our snow removal, sir.
Okay, and no? I'm getting a nod
Salt?
from stage.
I'm
right.
sorry.
Julius Colchi, purchasing director.
Salt removal.
We rent these loaders because of the capacity in there in our salt domes. They actually are sitting there loading the various salt trucks that go out on the road. Instead of purchasing something on that order, we only rent them for a short period of time, which is approximately 4 months per year.
So these are operated by county employees?
Yes.
Okay. And that, my question was, if it was for snow, my question was, are these going to be operated by our contractors who do the snow removal? But since it's salt, it's
Snow
just...
season.
No,
Snow
and-
season.
And these vehicles never hit the street. They're always in our yards.
Got it, thank you.
And just for correction, not correction, but a clarification, I think what Ms. Pena was trying to say was that these are part of our snow removal operation, and they're not directly for snow removal.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Parlavecchio? additional?
No, that's it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Ms. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Do I have a mover and a second? Moved by Freeholder Johnson. Second by Freeholder Jones. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer, absent. Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Mercado?
Yes.
Freeholder Pomares?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel?
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to resolution number 8, Madam Clerk, please read it.
Resolution 8, Department of Citizen Service, Division of Senior Services, approval of 2019 Senior Service Area Plan.
Mr. Jackson?
Mr. President, the Division of Senior Services is required to prepare a plan, area plan, for 2019 to 2021, outlining a comprehensive and coordinated social service system of support for our seniors in Essex County as a requirement to receive Older American Act funds. The approval of this plan will enable us to continue to do that and to receive funds from Older American Act as well as other funds to support our seniors here in Essex County.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Parlavecchio?
I don't have any questions, Mr. President.
Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Do you have a mover and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold, second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Pomares?
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Jones?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer, absent. Freeholder President Gill?
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving to resolution number 9.
Resolution 9, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, contract award to Winterland, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, to furnish, deliver, set up, and remove holiday lights display, date of award through January 5th, 2019, amount not to exceed $95,000.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Mr. President, Mr. Zates is here to address this item.
Joshua Zates, Essex County Parks. This item is for our annual holiday light display over at the Turtleback Zoo. This year, the dates are going to be from November 15th through January 1st. We're going to have over 40 holiday light displays, countless string lights, and as always, the event is free to attend. We do ask that people bring a canned good to donate.
Thank you. Mr. Parlavecchio?
Just a question, I think, towards Mr. Coltree. I know we were waiting for some documents on this, and in particular, the business registration certificate. We have 2 weeks from the execution of the contract to get that. I know they're an out-of-state business. Are we okay with that timing?
I am Julius Coltree, Purchasing Director. We have spoken with the owner of the business several times. They have applied with the state. Their credit card has been approved, so it's just a matter of getting the document to us as soon as possible.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parlavecchio. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Freeholders? Freeholder Siebold?
Thank you. The holiday light display at the zoo is absolutely fantastic. And if any of you haven't seen it, you should make sure that you get there this year to see what it's like. People come from all over to see it. It is really a wonderful display. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Siebel. Freeholders. Do we have a mover in a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder
Second.
Siebel. Second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Bauer, absent. Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you. Moving to resolutions number 10 through 24, which are all resolutions and commendations. Read them into a record at a later time. Do I have a mover in a second?
Move, Mr. President.
Moved by Freeholder
Second.
Palmares. Second by Freeholder Mercado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bauer, absent. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Mercado.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmares.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Gill.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Reports of board committees. Do we have any board committee reports? Seeing or hearing none. Legislative reports, written communication, unfinished business, new business, public comment. If there's any member of the public who would like to comment on any matter, please come to the microphone, state your name and affiliation. For the record, you will have 3 minutes to speak.
Kevin Lindahl, Bloomfield, New Jersey. I'd like to discuss the Police Athletic League. We've seen over the last few years shootings of unarmed teenagers by police, kids that had no way of defending themselves. It's created a real tension in the atmosphere, racial tension. Some good cops are getting blamed because of the bad police officers' lack of judgment, and there's also a lack of trust of the community and these young adults and teenagers. Relationships are important. As you know, in politics and in business, it's a lot easier to pass a bill when you have trust in someone, when you have a relationship that you've formed with a person, and there's a back and forth. Without that trust, and even in situations where there's bad blood, things don't get done. The Police Athletic League forms those relationships at a young age, not just with the kids, but with the police officers. They have camping trips, they have parties, they have football games and basketball games, teenagers against the police, really forming those bonds in a non-stressful environment. And these are the seeds we can plant now. Think of 10, 15, 20 years down the line, how we could change society if now we form these relationships between the community in the inner cities and the police officers in a lighthearted environment. And now that kid sees the kid on the street, he knows him on a first name basis, went on a camping trip with him, had a football or a pickup basketball game with him. It could really change the environment going into the future. So I would ask this board to consider expanding the Police Athletic League's footprint, putting the funding behind it in Essex County, and getting those relationships going. You know, I'm 44 years old. If right now someone told me, if I had my views, if I had authoritarian views that we see many of the people in this country have under this president, where I wasn't open to diversity and I judged somebody without really knowing them based on their background, I don't know if I could be changed at 44. But you know what? I grew up with Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street, shows like Fraggle Rock that preach diversity when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. They got to me on time. They got to me in time where it shaped me for the rest of my life. And now I know that diversity is a strength, and it's really what drives us. We can get to these kids and these officers before they're fixed in their ways, and little hope to change. So I would ask this board to consider funding the Police Athletic League, expanding the footprint in Essex County. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if there's none, Madam Clerk, let the record reflect, indicate there is no one wishing to speak at this time. Freeholder comment session. Freeholder, do you have any comments you would like to make? Just very quickly, thank you, Madam Clerk, and to the entire staff. Wonderful Italian-American Heritage ceremony held earlier today, and I thought it was tremendous with a solid group of honorees, and as well as recognizing our Belleville Nutley Columbus Day Parade, which is going to happen this Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Freeholders, any additional questions? Oh, sure. Yes, absolutely.
Mr. President, I just wanted to thank the board for honoring my dad and my whole family today with that really special moment for all of us, and certainly for him. So thank you all.
Thank you. Our pleasure. Freeholders, any additional comments? Do you have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Meeting. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.